Well, President Obama and Eric Holder are announcing federal efforts to reform local police forces in response to the Ferguson protests.
A simmering distrust that exists between too many police departments and too many communities of color.
I will announce updated Justice Department guidance regarding profiling by federal law enforcement to help end racial profiling once and for all.
But what about the communities? What responsibility do they have? Joining us now to weigh in is Missouri Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder. Sir, we thank you for joining us this morning. A big day. I want to start first with something that I'd like you to clarify for us. Police Chief Jackson indicated there in Missouri that they are actually considering looking into possible charges against the stepdad of Michael Brown. His name is Lewis Head. He could be charged with inciting mob violence. It has been reported that you have repeatedly called for his arrest. Is that true?
Not repeatedly, Elizabeth, and thank you for having me on. I'll just say that in response to Laura Ingram's question a week ago, I said it seemed like inciting to riot to me. It is not my role to bring the charge. That's the prosecutor's decision, and he has to line it up with the elements of the offense very carefully. He has to be able to satisfy himself that he can prove causation. I'm not sure any of those can be met here, and upon mature reflection, I walk that comment back and leave it to the prosecutor. I will say this, on Sunday morning I took the time to drive up to Ferguson and to attend service at a black church, an African-American church, pastored by a friend of mine. And we humbled ourselves and worshiped God and asked for his healing hand on Ferguson, on the state of Missouri, and on America. That's what we need. We need a time of healing.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of people are joining you in that prayer so that everyone can recover there in that area. But are these things helping? And I want to start with the President and Attorney General Holder calling changes to policing right to the table here. You know, body cameras for police. Will this actually help or hurt the situations moving forward?
Well, some of those details, like body cameras, I'll leave to the law enforcement professionals. Here's what disturbs me about the approach of the Attorney General and the President of the United States. They seem to put all the onus on law enforcement. How about backing up law enforcement in the discharge of their enormously difficult duties? I read early this morning a headline that a policeman in New York City was killed with his own gun after a criminal grabbed the gun through the open window of his car. That's almost what we had happen in Ferguson, but for Officer Wilson's action in fending off an assault on him, a criminal assault. I would like for at the meeting they had day before yesterday around the table at the White House, Al Sharpton was there, but I didn't see Sheriff Clark from Milwaukee, who I heard last night on your air on Megyn Kelly's show, do a splendid set with Megyn about the perspective of law enforcement and the difficult job they have.
Yeah, he actually started the day here with such comments and just continued through the day with strength in his words there. Someone else who has words, and I'm not sure that I can even say that are strong, they're actually probably inciting a lot of people to get more angry, and you just mentioned his name is Reverend Al Sharpton. Listen to his words here, and then I'd love your reaction. Take a listen.
We lost a round, but the fight ain't over. You won the first round, Mr. Prosecutor, but don't cut your gloves off, because the fight's not over. Justice will come to Ferguson.
Does an opinion like that have a place right now in the White House directing the next steps?
No, it does not. And Elizabeth, nothing good comes when Al Sharpton comes to your town. I mean, the other day when he was at his 83rd visit at the White House, I thought it would have been a good time for folks from the IRS building just a few blocks away to walk up and serve him with papers the way they would any poor businessman or woman in southeast Missouri, where I come from. And they would padlock the business of those business people, and they wouldn't take your story that you'd have the money at noon the next day. They would laugh in your face. But somehow Al Sharpton is an honored visitor to the White House, despite the news of 10 days ago that he owes $4.5 million in taxes to all of us.
Lieutenant Governor, you had a lot to bring us this morning. We thank you for taking the time to do that during this time, and I'm sure many Americans out there are going to join you in prayer. Thanks.
Thank you.
You got it.